Donald Trump's pep rally on CNN last night. Let's talk about it. And oh yeah, this video is going to be much longer than normal. This is Kaitlyn Collins. She was the host, moderator of last night's pep rally for Donald Trump on CNN. She's also one of the white women who were co-hosts to Don Lemon on his morning show. She was one of the white women that was co-host to Don Lemon on the morning show. The morning show that Don Lemon got fired from. Moving on. I've got a clip. It's about 5 minutes long from last night's pep rally. Let's watch it.
What happened during that election, unless you're a very stupid person, you see what happens. A lot of the people in this audience. Yes, we're going to just win. We're at a point now. We're getting so close. Let's just win it again and straighten out our country.
One other question on this.
Not stupid at all, but you perhaps are given an agenda or you have an agenda. Look,
I was just saying there's no evidence of that election fraud. You did once tweet.
You're supposed to say that, but I'm glad you say that. But look,
That's
that was
truth,
a horrible
Mr. President.
election. That was a horrible election, and we have to have honest elections in our country. We have open borders. We said, we'll give you soldiers, we'll give you National Guard, we'll give you whatever you want. And they turned me down.
You're
and in
acting
fact, she
defense
turned me down.
secretary.
She turned me down. Well, I didn't have a script. I don't need scripts like a certain person that's in there
What time,
right now.
the video, it came out much later after they had already attacked the Capitol. But that video that you referenced there, it wasn't posted until 4:17 p.m.
No, I'll tell
They
you,
breached the Capitol at 2 p.m.
That video was
Mr.
posted.
President. 4:17
Yeah,
p.m.
actually a little bit before that.
Chris Miller was your acting defense secretary, and he says you never gave that order. But back to what happened on that day. You said you weren't.
He did not say that.
He has testified that, Mr.
He did
President.
not say that.
But you said you weren't very. Why did it take you 3 hours to tell them to go home?
I don't believe it did. Oh, let me pull it out. I have to pull it out. And this was in the form of Twitter. Now I use Truth Social. I think it's far superior, okay? I hope everybody's like it. They took it down. I don't know why. I think they took it down because it was so good. They didn't like it being up there.
Mr. President, I looked at the same timeline that you did. Once
No,
it was
but you
clear,
didn't report that. You know what? Because it was
we
taken
did report
down.
it. I was reporting that
It was
thing.
taken down and it wasn't.
But when it was clear to you that they were not, do you feel that you owe him an apology?
No, because he did something wrong. He should have put the votes back to the state legislatures, and I think we would have had a different outcome. I really did.
But he doesn't have the authority. The vice president does not have the authority to reject
Are you ready?
those
Let's have this
election
one out
results.
just now, because it's interesting. Let's keep it interesting, right? I like Mike Pence very much. He's a very fine man. He's a very nice man. Did they change the law then, saying that you can't do it?
They didn't change the law. They strengthened the law because they were worried about
They
presidents
strengthened it,
exploiting.
meaning you could do it.
That's not what it means.
Thank you.
They strengthened.
In Washington, D.C., you cannot get a fair trial. You cannot. Just like in New York City, you can't get a fair trial either. What kind of a woman meets somebody and brings them up, and within minutes you're playing hanky-panky in a dressing room, okay? I don't know if she was married then or not. John Johnson, I feel sorry for you, John Johnson.
Mr. President,
this is a fake story, and you don't want to give it credibility.
One thing you did do in this.
I have no idea who the hell. She's a
Mr.
whack
President,
job.
you did not testify in person.
What is the first thing you would do to help bring down the cost to make things more affordable?
Drill, baby, drill.
Do you think the U.S. should default if the White House does not agree to the spending cuts Republicans are
You
demanding?
might as well do it now because you'll do it later. Because we have to save this country. Our country is dying. We have a very big mental health problem in this country. And again, it's not the gun that pulls the trigger. It's the person that pulls the trigger. And we have to protect our second. And then we had a rigged election. I'm sorry to say it.
The election was not rigged, Mr. President. You can't keep saying that all night long.
And so I was totally exonerated, by the way. Just a waste of time and money.
You were impeached over that.
Impeached by a crazy woman named Nancy Pelosi.
But the question here is, would you give
I
Ukraine?
took the documents. I'm allowed to. You know who else took them? Obama took them. Nixon took them.
Obama did
Reagan
not take
took them.
documents.
Oh, he did?
The difference here that I'd like to
Take a
know.
look. But you know who took them more than anybody is Joe Biden. He has 1,800 boxes, and nobody even knows where they are. 1,800, and nobody talks about him.
I would like for you to answer the question.
Okay, it's very simple to answer.
That's why I asked it.
It's very simple to. You're a nasty person, I'll tell you. Why is it that Biden had 9 boxes in Chinatown, and he gets a lot of money from China? Why is that? And
There
why,
is no
why
evidence of
aren't
that,
people?
Mr. President. No, you cannot
why
say
aren't
that. There is
people
no
bringing that
evidence
up?
of that, Mr.
And
President. The one that's
she doesn't
happening
understand.
in Georgia, where they are investigating your efforts to overturn.
And when we can't make a call to question election results, then this country ought to just forget about it.
You weren't just questioning the election results.
I was
You were asking
questioning the
him to
election.
find you votes.
These people are sick. Anybody that wants this to happen to our country, they're destroying our country, and this should not be allowed to happen.
Listen, let me just show you this. This right here is the moment where she realized she effed up. First, let's talk about the audience. The audience is typically made up of independent voters, undecided voters, and maybe some of said candidate supporters, but mostly independent and undecided. It quickly became clear that Kaitlyn Collins was out of her league. She was out of her depth, her range. She was not going to be able to handle Donald Trump and his supporters, and CNN knew it. They threw this girl out to the wolves. As you can see in that clip, there were several times where she tried to fact check him. He ran over her, he talked over her, and he completely disrespected her. I know Don Lemon is somewhere with his feet kicked up, relaxed, watching and enjoying the show, and realizing that it was a blessing that he was fired from CNN. CNN has been trending all night. Don't watch CNN, boycott CNN. She's been trending all night. They have been dogging this girl out. My final note, Donald Trump has not changed. None of us expected him to, because he's been showing us who he is since he's been out of office. We expected this. He, if anything, has gotten worse. He's more emboldened. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to deal with another 4 years of this unhinged fascist. I don't want to do it. I definitely won't be voting for Donald Trump. What say you? Yes, she did. She also used to be a writer for the Daily Caller. Do you know the Daily Caller? The Daily Caller is a right-wing media site, but that's where all of the MAGA and the hateful racists, that's where they go to get their news. A Breitbart, but on a much lower, hateful scale. That's where she was before she found her way over on CNN. And when she first got to CNN, she was the White House correspondent. She was one of the journalists, one of the reporters at the White House. And she would report in every morning on CNN with the goings on over at the White House. Then she got promoted to senior White House correspondent. And from there, she ended up over on CNN on that morning news show. So yeah, it was the hateful racist over at the Daily Caller that gave Kaitlyn Collins her start. So when I started hearing that Don Lemon was having problems working with those 2 white women in the morning, my gut told me that Kaitlyn Collins was the source of it. Racist white woman, woke black man. Yeah, that wasn't going to work out. So as I said before, It was no shock to me when it came out that Don Lemon was fired. And I suspect it was a clash between the two white women that he was co-hosting with. But I bet you, remember they gave us the reason why they fired him. The rumor was it was because of that debate that he had with that presidential candidate. I don't even know his name. But Don Lemon stood his ground and would not let that man spew lies on Black history. I bet you last night, Kaitlyn Collin wished she had Don Lemon by her side, because Don Lemon would not let Donald Trump do that shit on live TV. I tell you, one thing about them tables, they always turn. Thank you for watching my video, and please make sure that you're following me on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.